Alright, should be recording. I'd like to see the file. I see the file. Alright, so, as it does say there, Talos Principle 2. The key was provided by Tinsley PR for Devolver Digital, and this is going to be a little awkward. You see, hang on just a second. Sorry. It's going to get warm in the room, and I forgot to take off a warm-up I'm usually wearing, because it's a little cold at the moment, but as I said, it's going to warm up with the test system having to play the game, which is the thing I want to talk about in the desktop recording it. So, yeah, I have to do this on the test system because apparently, for whatever reason, it even throws a warning saying, hey, you're using this GPU with these drivers, and there are problems with that. So we're not going to... It's like, you can launch anyway, but expect problems on the desktop. So apparently it doesn't like the RX 580 with, I think the drivers I'm using on the desktop are from April, but it's like, it's an RX 580. What driver update could possibly make that run better? Okay, I mean, it's like, really? So, test system it is, and capture card. And now let's look at some things. And I did, by the way, put in the RTX 2080, but it's still, I mean, like, on the desktop, it was getting a hard stutter. And the funny thing is, I was actually getting a hard stutter in this as well. With even the 2080, I think it may have just been like compiling shaders, something like that. Oh, but it is going to impact my ability to like get review some videos for the review, because I have to reach all the way back to hit a button to do that. Screenshots should be fine. Anyway, yes, we are playing full screen. I do have VSync on, although that actually, yeah, that technically can go off. Since the capture card is only going to get 60. Regardless of what this is set to, so. But yeah, I do have this stuff. It is set to the Ultra. We'll see how this goes. Because the settings of high and above use more accurate ray tracing methods to solve lighting, but can reduce performance. I'm sorry, this just annoys me for a couple of reasons. One is just I utterly despise the idea of combining settings like this, because like, no, why can't ray tracing be something else? Because there might be other things to global illumination that are not ray tracing that are enabled at high and ultra. But it's also, it shouldn't be limited over there. It's like it should identify ray tracing in there. I'm sorry, it's like you need clarity there, but I think it is. Hang on, let me actually check. I can find out. I can find out. Just need a moment. That, and actually I might, I can grab the right, here it is. I'm trying to check what the engine, yeah, it is an Unreal Engine game instead of Crow Team using their own engine, which is not surprising because this whole thing where it's just low, medium, high, ultra, that is completely an Unreal Engine thing that they've been doing for so long, and I absolutely hate that they do that because, like, with anti-aliasing in a lot of games, low is actually off. It should just be labeled off. No, it's labeled low, because let's confuse people. And also things like textures and anisotropic filtering will be baked into that. It's like, I'm fine with using low resolution textures, but I want the highest anisotropic filtering. Why is that locked in there? And when consider that the Crow engine that they'd used for like the original Talos Principle and such had a wealth of options where you could go in and tweak almost anything you want. I mean, you could enable super sampling, SSAA, and control how it filtered the samples together. All right, that's a lot of control. And I get it can be overwhelming, but it still is. That's a lot of control. And they're like, nah, we're abandoning all that. And it's like, I mean, come on, you got to be able to. If low is in fact off, you got to be able to rename that, right? Like, why can't this be off, medium, high, ultra? Or why can't it be anything more specific than that? I mean, it does annoy me. So, that's not something I'm going to hold against the game. To be clear, it's just, I don't like how we're getting this unification to everybody using Unreal Engine, but they're also abandoning a lot of things and just accepting quirks of Unreal Engine that I personally despise. Anyway, do you want to quickly look at the upsampling? I know, I'm just ranting. Do you want to look over the upsampling method stuff? So we got TAU, which is the default here, so that's just temporal. Oh wait, it actually gives it temporal anti-aliasing upsampling. You know, I want to screenshot that. That's gonna be helpful. In that, I'd have to check, but I know that at least for at OCC, we are supposed to write NVIDIA all capital. For deep learning supersampling, FSR2 for fidelity effect supersampling, with AMD, Intel's XeSS, and then temporal super resolution. I do kind of wonder how that's different from TAU as far as the actual algorithm. But still, we have performance, balanced, quality, and native. So TAU works with native. So does DLSS, where you get DLAA, which is supposedly just the sharpening pass for an anti-aliasing pass from DLSS, but it's being fed the native resolution and it outputs the native resolution. And then TSR. But I'm just gonna leave it at TAU for the moment, and also I need to pause the recording briefly. It's already getting warm enough, I need a fan going. Oh, that pause feature in OBS is nice. Anyway, I barely use it, but it still is nice to have. So yeah, because it is the 2080, I have these things set to ultra. We will see how it goes. It might go very badly. Really don't know. And I am also going to look at this. I want to see if they have my picking tomatoes standard here. So, I mean, right now all we're able to see is the UI changing. So let me explain what I mean by picking tomatoes, because my dad actually is colorblind. I don't know where he would be on the colorblind strength, but I'm pretty sure he's this. He's whichever the most common is. I'm pretty sure it is this one. But you see how we do that and just we see changing colors in the UI? My picking tomatoes standard is basically, well, that's not good enough, because the UI is fine, but what about the game? The actual gameplay world? It's like, the UI might, if he had a UI in real life, it's like, okay, he can see that more clearly, but when he's got a red tomato against green leaves, and a green tomato there as well, he has a hard time discerning the green of the tomato from the green of the plant. It's like, that is he can, but it's like he has to focus on trying to get it right. But it's still, that's where the difficulty is. It's like, well, if you're not applying a colorblindness filter to the whole of the game, to the whole thing that you're viewing, then I'm sorry, I don't consider that useful. Because, I mean, if you can't pick tomatoes, then your colorblindness hasn't been addressed. Hence why I call it the picking tomatoes standard. Again, I have pulled up, I'm just looking at the, okay. I pulled up the review guide. Recommended specs, what do we... Oh, geez, I didn't... I'll be honest, I hadn't really... See, now... Yeah, that is so weird. So maybe it is just a driver thing. Minimum spec says the RX 470, 4 gig. I have an RX 580, which was only with... Wait, I think that was only with 8 gig. So performance-wise, it should be fine, but it's... Maybe it is just drivers, but it still is. I don't know what drivers they think... What driver change they think is going to make a difference there. But for recommended, it's the RX 6800 and GeForce RTX 3070. Which is actually kind of a good thing, because if that's the recommended specs, it doesn't say what that translates to in terms of presets. The 2080 should be able to handle some things. I might need to tweak some settings, but that's actually not too bad. Alright, so we'll just close that. Alright, so just have that up so I can turn and make notes, but let's get into this. And I guess also a little bit of background. I have recently played the original game, because I do own the Talos Principle, but I'd never played it until 2 weeks ago when I started playing it. And I really did enjoy it. I did not enjoy Road to Gehenna that much, but I have a review, did the whole review playthrough stuff, so you can go see that. Yeah. I mean, it's... Hopefully, I am hoping that this will be more like the base game. The base game of the Talos Principle, because I really did enjoy that. Uh-huh. I'm just gonna say they should not have done it that way. Just the horizontal lines there, because it's then making the dark heart. It doesn't have very high contrast to the white background. That is very hard to read. All right, I'm just trying to also see what the frame rate is up there. Okay. Oof. Yeah, that's not great. Alright, and they've not started talking to me, so I'm gonna try tuning some stuff down then. I could actually believe just the global illumination might be enough, because that's... I just want to... That does make reference to ray tracing, which is true. At high is, you know, a thing. Are there any others? Okay. Yeah, let's just turn it off. So medium, even though it's like, I only want the ray tracing off. You can be highly detailed with the...
Behold, child, you
with the rasterization, but...
the dust, and you walk in my garden. Hear now my voice, and know that I am your friend, and I am called Elohim.
Okay, so that's interesting. Game starts with meeting Elohim again, even though he was supposedly shut down at the end of TP1, I'll just say from my notes. Yeah, because the simulation finished. I didn't like the ending in some ways, because it didn't make sense that he would shut down that simulation from the Talos Principle there, but it still was okay, this is what you did. It didn't make sense to me, but it's like, how is he now back? I hopefully that gets explained, because, I mean, that legitimately stands out to me from the base game, both because I just played it and because it didn't make sense to do that, and now it's like, we didn't do it. What? And yes, I am seeing screen tearing. Let me see. Let's try high on these. And one thing else I will add with the whole, like if I were to do a performance analysis, I kind of not want to, just because they're doing this. Just because it makes controlling stuff such a pain. Okay, it looks like it's able to handle high there with the Vested Ultra. We'll see if that holds up. What? I'm sorry, that does look a little purple to me, and it also just occurred to me. Let me... This isn't a perfect spot for it. But still, let's... This is all bland enough, I don't actually know. Okay, it is altering. I'm pretty sure it is. That does look brighter. Well, the colors do look a little different here compared to... here. Yeah, that's... the color saturation is definitely different. So I do want to make that down. It does appear to meet... picking tomatoes. As I saw color changes to the game world. I'm sorry, it is just something that does annoy me, that so many games for so many years are like, oh yeah, colorblind and stuff. It's just the UI. And it's like, the game doesn't even have a UI. Or barely has one. So how much does it really matter? How much do you actually think that has an impact? But I will say, I do not like... I mean, it's like, that is purple. I can tell that's purple. That also looks kind of purple. It's like, that could have much higher luminance to the blue there. And actually, I know this may sound weird, but I actually really, really do want to record that. Alright. the blue of the energy barriers does not stand out that well against the purple of the I guess player barrier or tool barrier. In TP1, the luminance was much higher, making the difference clearer. And I'm sorry, so I've submitted it. I haven't, and I have asked that it be held a bit until I get further, until I finish this review as well, the review for the Talos Principle one. But I spent quite a lot of time talking about the importance of visual cues, because as it happens, I had seen a meme mocking games and gamers that's like, well, here, actually, this is an example. How it's like, oh, you need to be told you can jump here. It's like, that you need that visual cue to know you can jump there instead of just you can jump. And so I just went off about how, because I had seen that recently when writing the review, I mentioned that, and how, no, visual cues are very, very important. So this needs to look different from that, because otherwise you start assuming that they will behave similarly. And by the way, yes, I am noticing that is a temporal effect. So that's why you're seeing the ghosting, which I'll actually mention there as well. I haven't noticed obvious ghosting on the purple barriers, indicating some kind of temporal impact, likely tied to post-processing. And I know a very easy way of checking that, because this is an Unreal Engine game. And actually, I mean, if you look, okay, so that actually is very similar, but it seems like it did lose some effects. But it might not be. Although I don't know, well, no, it would be under effects then, I guess. Okay. And I'm sorry that I'm diving into this, it's just, can I blame it on them? For using Unreal Engine, where it's like, no, I have to... Oh, no, that's curious that none of those are... Although, how does this look? I'm really wondering what setting actually controls that. But no, I'm used to seeing in various games... wait a minute, I said... Oh, no, that's right, I set them to medium and then moved them back up. And actually that I need to make a note of. Ultra preset with GI and reflections at high to reduce ray tracing. Let me... Okay. But one thing that I have noticed with various Unreal Engine games, although that was Unreal Engine 4, did that apply? Yes, okay. Where things like the post-processing, you would actually see like particle effects. So it would just, well, no, an effect like, particles in the beams there, it's like they would just occur less frequently as you turn down the settings. It wouldn't be a reduced amount of particles, it's just like, yeah, we're particle on, off, particle on, off, for low, and then for medium it would be particle on, particle off, particle on, particle off, and then for high it would be like particle on, particle on, particle on, particle off.
But a dream. You will stay here only for a little while. Soon you will awaken in a new world. But first you must undertake the trials of initiation. They will help me prepare your vessel.
and then Ultra would be just on all the time. So I was expecting that would be the case. That's a temporal thing, trying to put the barrier there, and so by turning down the effects stuff or post-processing, it would reduce the amount of time there, so the blur would change. The ghosting would change, I mean. Okay, so... It seems Elohim is back because the simulation has been at least partially recreated. I also just realized, let me see that folder again. Okay, good. I wanted to make sure that I am in fact saving the videos properly. It's been at least partially recreated to help acclimate, bring up the robot AI, and prepare the robot body for the AI. Which makes sense. I mean, it's like that's exactly why I was very confused by the ending of the base game. Because, like, wait, why are we not continuing this to get more AIs that are capable of handling this stuff? Oh wait, it wouldn't be showing tools, yeah.
The shapes you are collecting are not mere toys. They are symbols of the process by which our people were created.
Okay. I'm sorry, you say fencing with that, and I think of swords. Probably because I was on a fencing team for 3 years. Nope, not quite. Well, okay, no. Just do it this way. I'm not sure if I actually could have stood on the thing. Which that is true. I did not actually need to jump all the way around like I did there. Well, I didn't need to go around, is what I mean. Could have just been from the one side. Anything? No? Okay. Okay, I think I kind of see the idea here. I'm just not sure if the distances are... Nope, they are fine.
Well done, my child.
Which that actually reminds me of something. So going back to the visual cues are necessary. This distance, I don't know if I could... Oh no, I can actually jump. Oh wow, you actually like really have horizontal movement here while jumping. I don't think that was the case in the base game. But that is one thing that would happen in the base game where it's like, no, there's no way you could jump that far. And then that is a little extreme. But you get that and it's like, oh yeah, you can jump that far. It's like, wait, what? This scripted stuff defying what you've been trained to expect, I didn't like, and it frustrated me. And it's like, that's a reason that you do need yeah, kind of screwed that up. There we go. Nope. What? But that is a reason why you do actually need the visual cues in games, because sometimes something is scripted, so you need to tell the player, hey, this is how you do something. Or at least train them that, hey, this is what it takes. Actually, I need to take screenshots. What the heck? Yeah, that's a visual bug right there. See that line? That's because it's actually going below the plane of the button. The plane of that button. The effect is still existing there. You do that, and because you can see how it moves, and yeah, you can see it with the shadow. The turn right there might be a problem, but yeah, yes, you can actually see the edge here as well. Huh. So the game is already out, by the way. Part of the reason why I played the base game was not just so that I could experience base game, the original game. It's not just so I could experience that, but also because I knew when I got the review key for this, there was no way I was going to be able to make the embargo date. So I was like, alright, screw it. I'll just embrace that and play the first game first, and then get to this when I finished with that. Okay. And I still think that was a good decision. Well, I have to because there's no way to change it now. But, there have been a few patches, though. I think they're on 1.0.3. Things the last I saw. But, clearly, still some issues. That really is a legitimate... It's not an important, it's not a significant bug, but it is a legitimate graphical bug. Okay. Oh no, that's not gonna do anything. Oh, I maybe? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, because the steps, the blocks here are tall enough. Usually the cube is actually just short enough for the beams to go over it. At least in the base game it was. Except when it wasn't. The game kind of liked doing that. Well, Road to Gehenna liked doing that, which is part of the reason I did not like that. But they train you on something in the base game, and then, nah, it suddenly doesn't work that way anymore. Okay. Okay. Like, one thing they would just expect you to know in Gehenna, but also in the base game, it's just there was optional. In Gehenna it wasn't. Was that the effect of the jammer here can actually go through the purple fields. Why you'd think that the thing that prevents you from bringing the tool through allows the effect of the tool to pass through, I don't know. I think that's a very lousy idea. That should never have been allowed at all, even for optional stuff in the base game. But then Gehenna, it's like, oh no, you have to do that. But I mean, here, look at this. This is absolute. You need to know this is how it works. There is no joking about it at all. This is how it works. Do it this way. So I have to kind of give it to the game. In the tutorial, you are required to figure out that jammers can reach through the purple barriers with their effect. I wonder if this is a response to it not being taught in TP1, but being required for stars there and puzzles in Gehenna. Like, no, I legitimately could believe that's exactly why it happened. That's exactly why that's saying I need to drink water. Yeah, I could believe that it's only there because they realized, oh, we screwed up. We should not have allowed that to be the case. Because there's no reason for a player to think that would work. So, yeah, we're gonna just, fix that. But it's also, I mean, it's like... Okay. But it's also, you got issues with, like, in the original game, in Talos Principle 1. It was like, you look at this. You'd think that a laser could go through that. No, it can't. Why not? Why? I mean, it's a fence. It's clearly opaque. But, I mean, it'll go through this, but it can't go through that. Makes no sense. But a laser will go through this as well as the jammer. I mean, visual cues are important, and I really... Because they start teaching you... Well, I mean, you are taught that the fences block lasers, they block jammers and all that, and then it's like there are times when it's like, yeah, we're abusing that. And it's like, that's not what you should be doing. Anything back here? Nope. Ah. Alright, there. Okay. Just... Okay. Alright, then it's gotta be like this. Where am I going? Okay. Oh, wait, what? Even sigils. Those are red. Okay, here we go.
I am proud of all my children. Out of a world of ruins, they have built a new Jerusalem. And there your brothers and sisters await you to celebrate your birth.
Okay, so I call them lenses. They're technically connectors, but yeah, take connector. Thank you for also telling me this. Oh my god, that was a whole nother thing. So here, let me pull this up and I will hopefully be able to explain to you. Alternative use. That's how it was also labeled in the Talos Principle. It never identified it in the game, what that means. At least not that I ever recall seeing. And I mentioned this in the review for a couple reasons. One is, I actually would like it if it was if you set it down that way, using right click, that it then doesn't, it doesn't matter. So it's like now it'll connect there, and it's like if I do that, then it should drop it. That's what I would have liked. That's what I even mentioned. No, it will keep the connections. So if I do that, now I do that, see how it maintains them. I grant, that is neat. That is useful. But it's not communicated in the base game. I only discovered it because there were times when, yeah, I needed to look at a guide. I don't mind admitting I'm not always that great at this stuff. Okay. But it's only because I saw the guide I was looking at did have a list of all the controls and said what alternative use was. It's like, that's not how I should have to find that out. Not even remotely is that how that should work. But, it also was annoying because it's like, this is the only one.
You may linger in my garden for as long as you wish. But remember, my child, that the new world awaits you, and this place is only a dream.
Oh yeah, that's right. That there's the jammer, the lens, the box, the recorder, and the platform. Jammer, lens, and recorder you all interact with in a way where it's like, why couldn't there be an alternate use? Definitely the recorder. I wish there was an alternate use of the recorder, of not wiping what you had recorded if you need to repeat it. But, okay. There. I guess this will do it, yeah. Yeah, that was it. It's a lot simpler than I was expecting. But yeah, it's like so many ways it could be used. It's like, no, there's one thing. It's never told you in the game. And yeah, oh man. It ticked me off enough that even though I found out before I finished Road to Gehenna, but I think it was actually like at the last part or second last part, I was still like, okay, I am not going to change the review to say that this had no use. Because it was just no, that this is not how you should be doing this. Wait a minute, it even said when I picked it up it could disconnect all of them. That's exactly the thing I said I wanted. See, I mean, it's like they are fixing problems that, well, from my perspective, they were problems. Okay, so that doesn't need to be anymore. Oh, no. That would cross there, but yeah. Well, here, I can show you. Yeah, this isn't how lasers work, by the way. Not even remotely. But they cross like that and they hit, so and that interferes. But it is one of those, this is how the game is designed, so you kind of have to deal with it. Is the whole kind of visual cue stuff, where it's like, no, we need this information because a game will basically almost never operate like reality. So the visual cues and such, the training of the players so they know how things work, it's all very important. And when you do it badly, there's problems. Talos Principle, by and large, did it very well. Not always, though. But yeah, I do care about this stuff. Perhaps too much. Alright. Oh, there it is. Okay, I know that's gonna be a problem there. Ah, hang on. Okay. Well, this is gonna get interesting. If I could actually just from somewhere here hit both. Okay, so I do have a spot here. Oh! That's all I needed. Because now it goes over. Oh, son of a... well, in theory, hang on. Yeah, that was enough. Now, I will admit that generally speaking, I don't really like some of that. And the reason I do feel I need to mention, and oh my god, look at that temporal effect there. But just by moving like this, now you see the pulsing. Oh no, I guess that is actually intended. Okay, it was severe enough on the front edge here, I thought it was a kind of aliasing. It's not. Well, it's Doppler effect, which technically could be a kind of aliasing, but it's intentional. Now I completely forgot what it was I wanted to mention. Oh well. Okay, now I know what the idea here is. This is definitely helpful if you played the previous game, because then you already got everything explained. Well, I mean, a lot of these puzzles, the solutions you would have already learned.
I have finished preparing your vessel. Now hear my advice. A new world awaits you, full of dangers and mysteries, signs and wonders. Things that I, in my garden, could never have imagined. In that world, you will have to be careful and smart and curious. But above all else, you will have to be human.
Okay, save that video too. Oh, hang on just a sec. I just want a screenshot. Which actually does remind me of something I want to quickly check on. I need a pause to do this, though. Alright, we're good. I just want to make sure that the screenshots were being saved correctly and where I wanted them to be. Okay, I did see one.
Do not be afraid of these dream figures and their messages. They are merely aspects of yourself, as am I, after a fashion. Step into the light, child, and awaken.
Oh wow, it's real sensitive.
You're awake. Welcome to the world of the living.
Alright. What does that mean? Log? Huh.
Oh, you're polite. What a rare combination of traits. If only the algorithm produced more people like you. Oh, but I'm confusing you.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Everyone is confused.
That's not what I'm confused by.
You see, we all start out without a full knowledge of our own history, so we have the freedom to form our own opinions.
I'm confused by the whole. That's an odd combination of characteristics. So wait, what? What combination? You said I was polite. I mean, what's this other characteristic that's combined with? What?
Of course. You want the short version or the long version?
I'll take the long version. You know what? Yeah.
All right, you asked for it. A long time ago, our ancestors dominated this planet. We call ourselves human, like they did, but they were organic. They built an advanced technological civilization. But unfortunately, their impact on the ecosphere caused changes in the climate, and an extremely contagious virus was released from the permafrost.
It was actually that's really stupid, by the way. No, I criticized that in the base game. I can criticize it here too, but we'll let her finish.
Historians still debate. Why weren't they more prepared? Why did they invest so many resources into making war, and so few into useful research? It's hard to
clearly
understand.
have no understanding of how research works.
In the end, they simply
and history.
Time.
I mean, it's like a lot of research done for war has other purposes, and a lot of research done for those other purposes works for war. I mean, it's... yeah.
A team led by a scientist, Alexandra Drennan, began a project that was intended to create a new humanity. But knowing that there wasn't enough time, Drennan initiated a process, a series of iterations inside a simulation that would lead to the emergence of true artificial intelligence.
Or artificial superintelligence, you could say.
We remember Drennan as the progenitor. The simulation was controlled by Elohim, who wasn't really meant to be intelligent in the proper sense of the word.
Superintelligence
But
versus
it all
intelligence.
took much longer than anyone had expected. And over the centuries, Elohim actually became sentient. Sentient and afraid. He didn't want the simulation to end, so he tried to cheat. I feel sorry for him, really. The whole simulation was built around learning to defy him. It must have been hard to be in that position.
Well, yeah, I'm sure this version was a little different.
When the simulation was completed, he became part of all of us, and it really changed him.
Okay, I don't like
It
this.
freed him, I think. You'll always hear him in sleep mode, taking care of you.
And I'll explain why I don't
That's
like
what he
that
is,
shortly.
after all. A caretaker.
Okay, so the reason why I don't like that, and this is something I do explain in the review I wrote for Road to Gehenna, is the premise. What she explained there for the premise makes perfect sense. The idea was to eventually get an AI that achieved superintelligence such that it could replace humanity, that it would, and so it succeeded the simulation, right? It ascended the tower, literally in that, to achieve being put into a real humanoid robot thing. Okay, that makes perfect sense, right? For the story, it makes perfect sense. In Road to Gehenna, though, it gave the idea. What was presented was that these other child processes, these other AI, that did not succeed that did not prove themselves worthy to gain their own body, they were cast out by Elohim, and now Road to Gehenna is you trying to bring them back, so that now they can also be on that disc and upload it. It's like uploaded with at least their memories, but uploaded to be added to the one that was worthy. That makes no sense, because you're now changing the entity that succeeded, the entity that proved its worth, and now apparently Elohim, too, was part of that. This makes no sense, because how do you know that this new being is worthy anymore? Okay, because it's not necessarily and then, was worthy and then grew from this knowledge. You don't know that. I was like, is it just their memories? Because even then, you would have disparate memories there. Like, there would be conflict potentially between the memories. It's like you are potentially significantly changing that being, that entity, by starting to include this other stuff. And it's like, that's very dangerous, especially when say, we need you to meet the certain standard. They pass it. Okay, now we're changing you. You need to pass the standard again. You don't know. And it's, hell, I've run into that at work, where, because we need to do like security reviews of software that we put together, and it's like, yeah, it's great. Now we're going to add something into the system so that we have this new functionality. It's like, okay, we need to do the security review again. It's like, it's the same kind of idea. So it's like, I'm sorry, the inclusion, being like, oh yeah, Elohim also came with you. It's like, no, that doesn't make sense. Now, if Elohim was stored later and the guy learned from him, the entity that succeeded learned from him, and then incorporated him into other things, that's different. But this is like, no, we're just, and the Gehenna people, yeah, no, we're just putting it all in that. You don't know if he's worthy anymore. It doesn't follow. It is in fact a problem there. It is a significant inconsistency. And how I even put it in the review is that, for Gehenna, is that it does kind of risk invalidating the story of the base game. It really does. Because, I mean, it's like AI superintelligence, right? How do you know? It's like, it's been achieved now the one time with that first worthy one. Technically, there were the messengers before that should have also achieved it, but let's just say it was only the one. You don't know how that was achieved, but it was achieved, and now you're tampering with it. How do you know it survives the tampering? It really is a critical flaw to the whole thing. A critical flaw. What I would have done instead, because I do write stories, and that's also part of the reason why I am as critical of stories, is because I write stories as well. I would have just made it where the simulation shut down, but it was stored. So you were able to reinitialize it completely or in part, and access Elohim that way, and start deciding to incorporate it into other things, and then rerun the simulation and stuff. That is what I would do to explain it, instead of just this incorporation immediately, because it's so dangerous, because you're starting to tamper with the very thing that may have been very fragile. I mean, let me put it like this. What the argument I'm making is that potentially you have this being that is worthy to succeed humanity, to follow after humanity. The only way to do that is for it to become super intelligent. And it's like, it has achieved that. Now you're changing it, and now he gets there, and he's a rock. He's stupid again. He's not super intelligent. That has been lost. So now humanity will not be succeeded. That is a very real concern here, and I don't feel like there's respect for that. So, yeah. So apparently, and now I need to write this out in the notes, which is annoying because I have to turn 90 degrees to get to the desktop. Apparently, Elohim was incorporated into the into the player of TP1 when it ascended into the real body. This is a significant problem, though, as that means you are tampering with the thing you needed to prove was worthy. How do you know that worthiness was not so fragile that this tampering broke it? As the whole premise of the original game was it took, well, a lot of iterations, centuries worth, to achieve. So it clearly was difficult, so why would it not be fragile then? I'm good with Elohim surviving, and by the way, I've got another reason why they shouldn't just say that, oh yeah, Elohim is incorporated like this. Surviving the end of TP1, but it should not have been like this. It should have been the simulation, though shut down, was saved so it could be recovered. There's also Elohim. I'm trying to think of how best to put it. Elohim's fear is also not necessarily something you wanted to incorporate into the character. Especially when you consider that fear was only demonstrated clearly at the end. So it's reasonable that the main character of the base game did not process it, didn't understand it. It's like, oh, now we're injecting fear. It's like, this is really not good. Yeah, and I will add that note. Another issue with incorporating Elohim into the AI like this, and they even described he was afraid, that he had fear. Is its fear now being added to the AI prior, well, potentially without an understanding and processing of that fear. This is incredibly dangerous, as that fear provoked Elohim to undermine yeah. certain efforts. I mean, but even then, that's not entirely accurate. Of Elohim to make you afraid. Well, afraid of defying him. So why? Afraid of defying him, which was necessary to prove your worth. But now you're incorporating that same fear into the AI, so why wouldn't that make the AI decide to succumb to that fear and not prove themselves worthy? I was like, so right there, I now have, based on what was said there, because I mean, and knowledge of the original game. Now, yes, I do have my original criticism of it, but still is. I've now given a specific example of a characteristic that it has acknowledged that by Elohim being incorporated like that may have undermined, may have actually broken the AI. Okay? May have actually caused it to lose that worthiness that was necessary to it. That is such a big issue, and technically we're an hour into the video, but we're probably like, what, half an hour into the game? If that, even? So yeah, this is really, really a big problem with the story.
Yes, there was Milton, the intelligence in charge of the archive, a project initiated by Arkady Chernyshevsky, which was meant to collect all of humankind's knowledge. His story is a lot like Elohim's, but Milton became the ultimate cynic. They say he's part of us too, in some way.
Not exactly.
Long after our ancestors died out, the first new human was born. We call her the Founder, although the name she took was Athena. She then woke up Cornelius and Eustathius. Together, using the tools left behind by the progenitors' team, they created 10 more humans. These 12 who followed the Founder are known as the First Companions. Athena and the First Companions then set out to rebuild the world, and they founded the city of New Jerusalem. But then one day, she suddenly disappeared. Many still await her return.
I will explain the what in just a moment. I wanted to just save that video. So, first one woke up, Athena, great. Makes 2 more, well, has the 2 companions, and then they make 10 more. It's like, hold on. Athena built the robots for the other 2. I'm just, why is it the first companions and then the 10? What? Shouldn't it have been actually Athena and then the 12? I'm sorry, but that's a very real thing here. We only saw the one body created, Athena's body. That was it. That was already there. The others had to have been built by Athena. And now, true. But you know, the companions helped build them. Yeah, well, the first one did that too. So is it Athena and what was the first one? I can't remember the name. It started with a C though. So it's Athena and the first companion, not first companions, first companion. But it's like, but it was 2 that do that. Okay, then what about the 3rd? Why didn't the 3rd help? Why didn't the 4th help? Why didn't the 5th? I'm sorry, that really is just, what are you talking about here? This isn't how that works. I mean, unless you were to say, and she found 2 other bodies, and then together they did this. It was, no, she had to have built all of them to begin with. Why are we having this weird distinction at 2? What? I am so confused by how that makes sense to people. Like I said, I write stories, so I will be critical because I would ask myself this question of why do I care about these first 2 versus the other 10? And it would be like, okay, I need an explanation. Where's that explanation? Give it to me. There's nothing here to suggest that there is an explanation there. Because I wanted all the details. Didn't get that detail. Okay, so apparently, I've got so many notes already. Apparently, the TP1 protagonist took the name Athena, and after awakening, built new... And there's also... Where did these new AI come from? Because that also was skipped over there. Because the simulation should have been aimed to keep running so that you could produce more. But that's not what we witnessed here. That's not what was described here. Not specifically. That is a problem. Built 2 first companions, who then built 10 more. Why these first 2 are the first companions and not the first 12 that had bodies built by Athena, I don't know. It's not explained. Or why it isn't Athena and the first companion built 11 new humans. Yeah, it's not explained. Or why it isn't Athena and the first companion built 11 new humans. What is the distinction for these first 2? Don't know. Might be explained later, but why not now? Also, where did these other AI come from? Since the simulation was shut down at the end of TP1, I'm good with it starting up again, but that's not what was presented, and would remove pause to Elohim's fear. So that can't be the answer. Yeah. Maybe copies of Athena, but what would distinguish them sufficiently afterward to be new individuals? I mean, okay, technically... Oh, hang on. There shouldn't be a period. There we go, question mark. Technically, the moment the copy is made and starts to experience something different, they are now separate. But you might still see all interactions for a time, or rather all reactions for a time, being identical between them. I'm just trying to think. I mean, identical twins, not quite right there, because by the time you could start interacting with them and get feedback to distinguish between them, they already would have had sufficient differences between their lives to produce different reactions. But it still is things like, you'd expect musculature in their hands to be very similar, such that handwriting might be similar. You'd expect the musculature and such in their torso and neck and mouth, so that they would sound similar. Like the voices should be similar, but technically intonation might prove a little different. Like if one predominantly hears their mother speaking to them versus the other predominantly hearing their father speaking to them, because father and mother likely speak a little differently. So you might see differences there, but that would be far less. So it's... I can't really think of a good analogy there, but it still is. Are they copies? Did they come out of the simulation? How could they come out of the simulation? The simulation was shut down. There are so many problems here.
Before the founder vanished, she set a goal for this city. We call it the goal. capital G and all. To make 1,000 new humans, and so complete New Jerusalem. Well, that's the official story, the way the mayor tells it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pause for a moment. Athena vanished after some time. Did she say with the first companions? Okay. But before leaving, gave the goal to New Jerusalem. I need to pause, make sure I was spelling it correctly. But leaving gave the goal to New Jerusalem with a capital G of creating 1,000 new humans to make it a true city. Okay. That's the official story. But apparently there might be an unofficial one. Okay, and I just want to add, this is actually why the copying of Athena wouldn't make sense as an explanation. Legitimately, it would be, because if Athena had no reason to ever lie, right? So you make a copy. The copy should have no reason to ever lie. Copy another copy, no reason to lie. Another copy, no reason to lie. So how can there be an official and unofficial story when there would never be a reason to lie? Or you would see that because it's a copy, the values, the principles should be consistent across. So if one ever did find, oh, I need to lie about this, whenever somebody discovers it, they would agree with it. They would agree with the reason to lie. So there wouldn't be an official and unofficial story, because everyone would understand if the official version were a lie, why it needs to be the official version, why you need to lie. Can't drink water again. And you know one thing that is a little annoying for me? I don't even have a story that I would use this stuff in. It's like, I'm just critical of it because, well, and other stories. All stories I experience, I ingest one way or another. But it's not like I even have something where there would be generations of robots that I need to be concerned about. But I'm trained to be critical for reasons of doing reviews and reasons for my writing, and I'm not letting up.
Some of the first companions, like Byron, don't believe that Athena really wanted us to stop growing.
Was Byron I thought it was a C. Okay, no. So that wouldn't be it. Maybe it is this one. I am pulling up the review playthrough. Sorry, the videos. Okay. Okay, hang on. Cornelius. Okay. She woke up Cornelius and the name there's no way in how I'm pronouncing. Together, using the tools left behind by the progenitors team, they create 10 more humans. These 12 who followed... Okay, no, sorry. So I misunderstood that then. The first companions were all 12. I, for whatever reason, was associating... Well, no, it's very reasonable why I associated the first companions to the first two. Because the first two were named! The first two were named. It's like, why not give all the names? Or why give only those two names? it's still, there are so many problems with this storytelling here. But I do need to fix that, because I did get that wrong. So I need to change the note. Okay. Okay. After awakening, built bodies for more. The first two being Cornelius. Hang on, let me. No. Cornelius and. Yeah, I'm not pronouncing that correctly ever. And then they built 10 more. These 12 are called the first companions. Why are just the first two named at this time? We later hear the name Byron. Where did they come from? But where did the AI for these come from? Why are they the first companions? And not some other number. Alright, okay. So actually a lot of what a fair amount of my criticism that I already gave, though, is still valid. But it is, yes, I did misunderstand who she said the first companions were. There was the first 12. But it still is, why were those first two named and none of the others? Until we get Byron here. Okay, and why are they the first companions versus everyone else? I mean, it's like, there are definitely, like, I don't know why they're doing some of the things they do.
Twisted and embellished.
Okay. Apparently, Byron, one of the first companions. I mean, it's weird because it's also that they are the first companions. Why not the first 12? Or just the 12? Hang on just a second. Will this actually... Oh, that's nice. Oh, yes, so I am literally 1,000. Neath here is 33. Neath here something is 33. Man, that is so useful. Oh, yeah, that's right. I wanted to talk about that. So, because I criticized it in the base game, it makes no sense. Because they were talking about a virus or bacteria frozen in permafrost. So, extreme latitudes. Escaped. And was then able to cause the orangutan population to go extinct. It's like, orangutans are tropical. You're not getting a bacteria from permafrost in extreme latitudes to the tropics. Not effectively. Especially not... And there's no reason to believe that a modern orangutan, because this would clearly be an ancient disease, that a modern orangutan would even be susceptible to it. Let alone that it would be able to infect it. Well, that the infection could cause harm. Significant harm. And it's also very contagious. One thing that's kind of funny about diseases is that generally the more lethal it is, the less contagious it is. Because if it's very lethal, it kills the host too quickly to spread. It's like you actually see, because the best way to survive as a disease is to have the host survive as long as possible. They're parasites, essentially. So, yeah, I mean, it's like, think about the flu will hit millions of people. Ebola barely hits a small fraction of that. I shouldn't say barely hits, but still, it's far less common. Ebola is way more likely to kill you if you get it than the flu. It's like you already have to be weak for the flu to get you. Ebola can get healthy people as well. So, I mean, there is an issue there with the whole... And that's just a general science trope that I don't like, and I actively do avoid. In fact, I make fun of it in the very first chapter of one of my books. Feels... Actually, hang on, let me... Because I can have it right here. Oh, and also, where's that thing about the 1,000? Here it is. You are 1K. Okay. Okay. So that's also really written. Apparently some believe once the 1,000 were made, things should become static. But Byron, one of the dozen, doesn't believe, one of the dozen, and, well, yeah, I'll put that later, actually, doesn't believe Athena ever meant for the new humans' growth to stop. Others of the 12 also believed this, but only Byron is named at this time. And that it's one of those things where this is all intentional, by one measure or another. And I should explain that, because like when I'm writing, my specific word choice is technically I'm intending every word that I picked. That doesn't mean I couldn't go into a thesaurus and grab a different word. Where it's not like, this is the word I want to use here. It might be this is the meaning I'm trying to get across. I'm using these words. I could use other words. So, but it still is. The meaning is intended there, and potentially also the word is intended there. Like Byron, that is intentional. That is only there because Byron is somehow important here. Why? Who is he? What is the cause of the intention here? Oh, sorry. Alright.
They may be right, but I didn't see Athena very much in the years before she left.
I hate this. I hate this because it's putting my head in my hands. I didn't see... See, one possibility is the first companions, Athena left after the 12 and left them to do the rest. But no, I didn't see... She's 33! I didn't see her much. What's the distinction? What is the distinction here? Oh my god. It's so annoying. It's making me wish I would have updated OBS so I can... my audio interface can do floating point 32, but I could blow this thing... Well, I can't blow it out. I could yell into the mic and it'll be fine. And it's like, I can't do that. It's only at 24-bit at the moment. But it's still, it's like, what the hell is wrong with you? What is the distinction between the first companions / first 12 and the rest? Neith? I don't remember. Is 33, but did see Athena before she left, which means the distinction is not those who saw and those who did not see Athena, which would be logical. I mean, hell, you could even go further and play off some of the stuff even I think was actually set up in the base game. That, how do you know some of these events in the history existed? You could even be like, well, how do we know that the 12 didn't just invent Athena? You could have gone with that if it was no, this is the cutoff. And that they're being venerated. But it's like, is Athena, and people questioning, is Athena even real? You could do that. No, I saw her for a few. Why aren't you in this first 12 then? What is the distinction here? These are very reasonable questions.
Maybe
and they're not answered.
Actually leaving the simulation and seeing the destruction left behind by our ancestors changed her mind.
Not after centuries. I'm sorry, just a lot of the stuff would disappear in centuries. I mean, at the end of the base game, you do see that you're like walking out of Athena walks out, and the facility was built in a hydroelectric dam, which concrete is more or less artificial rock, so it is reasonable that could survive for centuries, but it would be in bad condition. It's actually pretty reasonable. I mean, water's powerful, and water moving over centuries is very powerful. But also, you wouldn't actually want the facility like in the dam. You'd want it off to the side and just powered by the dam. Because if the dam broke, now true, you'd lose some power, maybe not all, but that would destroy the facility too. So yeah. So I keep hitting exit, try to get out of that.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask them. When you're done, head outside. They're waiting for you. Your birth is quite the event. Me? Well, as you can tell by my number, I'm quite old. I wasn't one of the first companions, but I did know Athena personally. She and Cornelius taught me a lot. Although I suppose I've made a few improvements here and there since those days. We didn't have a lot to work with in the beginning.
Yeah! Still, no distinction. And it's also quite old. How old? How old? I want to know. I legitimately want to know. Okay? Because, I mean, yes, 1,000 is a big number. But why would this have taken a long time? I'm getting nitpicky, and I know that. But it still is... I have no understanding of the world I'm in, basically. How long ago was it that Athena awoken? There was no mention of that there. She says that she's really old. I don't know what that means. Because in theory, you had 12, 13 robots building other robots. They tell us we're supposed to be afraid of automation. 12, 13... I mean, it should be an exponential rate at which they can build these things. Okay? Like, it should take less time for 500 robots to build the other 500 robots than 10 to build the next 10. Okay? It's like that it is exponential there. And yet it's like, oh yeah, I'm really old. It's like, how old? World building problems. How old is all of, well, how long ago did Athena awaken? Ninth number 33 says you can tell by her number she is quite old. How? Like, I don't remember the name of it. There's a specific name when you do an exclamation point next to a question mark. But it's like, I'm even putting that in the notes. It's like, how? There's nothing explaining the length of time to build a robot body or to create the AI, nor how the AI, the new AI, is created. this could be the next year, for all we know. And that's actually really reasonable, because in theory it was years, but not. I don't even think it was necessarily a decade. But okay, yeah, let's say it was a decade for the original humans to create their first robot and everything else. So if it was a decade, but they need to do a lot of other stuff as well. So let's say it actually took the robot body 5 years to be built. Okay, except that also wouldn't have involved inventing a lot. And figuring out how to create various materials as well. But it's like, okay, so you've already figured out how to make every single one of these. Right? So it's like, the prototype is harder to make than the things after. So we're still down, like 5 years might be 2 or 3. As I said, it's exponential. So Athena wouldn't need to rest. So let's get that down to 1 or 2 years to build a robot body. You now have 2. And you put Byron in it. No, Cornelius. Okay, you now have 2 people. Now you can take 2 years to get to get 2 more done. Except that it was the first 2 were named, so in theory they remain first. So it might be that they instead worked together on one body and may have finished that potentially in less than half a year. Because there's no reason to believe that they couldn't schedule the work well enough to get it done faster. Like the whole there's a point at which multi-threading, there's sufficient overhead managing all that actually becomes worse to add more threads to the thing. Well, that would also be the case with manufacturing something. So it's like there would be a point at which you wouldn't want to do that. It's like maybe it's 4, that you only want 4 people to work on making a new robot body. At 5, it becomes less efficient. But still, it's like it's still, we're potentially cutting it down to say a few months to make one robot body. But every time you make a new robot body, this robot can help with producing the next. And it's like, there is, I don't know what that math would be, but I could believe it's only been like a decade. I could believe that it's only been like a decade or 2, but it might even be faster. I'm pulling numbers out of nowhere. But it's like, I'm quite old. How do I know that? There is nothing here to suggest that you are actually old. Nothing at all. That there's a gap in our numbers, yes, but the 33, so that would be 967. Those 967, maybe they were done in a decade. Maybe they were done less. Maybe they were done more. I don't know. There's nothing here to tell me anything about that.
I haven't really thought about it. This is all I've done for the last few centuries, and...
Okay, now we have something.
I like doing it. I guess for now I'll just take a break, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, so now we have something that she's been doing for the last few centuries. With an additional question, Ninth acknowledges she has been the one breeding new robots, well, new humans, for a few centuries. While this provides the answer to the question/concern above, it should not have required an additional question. Also, are there other, other robots in Ninth's position greeting others? Well, others when they awaken.
You've only just been born, and already you step right into a major controversy. The goal, as most people understand it, was fulfilled the moment you were born. Now, New Jerusalem is complete, and we can live in balance, without damaging the world like our ancestors did. That's the orthodox view, I suppose, but there are many who disagree. You'll have to figure out where you stand for yourself.
Well, I mean, I personally know where I stand. The overpopulation stuff is, a lot of it's tripe. I'm sorry, but it's like a lot of the depictions for overpopulation, such that the only way they make sense is if you've only ever lived in a hyper-urban environment where there is very high population density. You go out to the suburbs, you go out to somewhere rural, it's like, what are you talking about? That there's overpopulation, there's plenty of space, there's plenty of natural resources. And it's like, legitimately, I mean, you can... It's been a while since I've seen the stat, but you can fit every single human alive into Texas with, I think, not even necessarily as high a density as, say, New York City or LA is. Okay, I mean, that's how really small we are on Earth. Earth is freaking big. Humans are very tiny. Now, true, you would never want that high of density because that would concentrate a lot of things that you wouldn't want concentrated there. And there are things you can do better, but it's like overpopulation is... It makes sense if you don't understand how really small we are compared to the world.
You won't age like our ancestors did, but of course, there is always some wear and tear. You should probably schedule a checkup every decade or so. Oh, and be a bit careful with water. You won't die if it rains or anything, but we're running low on insulation material. I wouldn't go swimming if I were you.
But yeah, it's just... There are some resources that may prove scarce, but it's still that there's way more resources than you'd think. And it's just in like the insulation there, it's like, okay, well, what is this insulating material? I mean, it's, I don't know, I'm just, yeah.
Oh, one more thing. Like all citizens of New Jerusalem, you have access to the interface, which you can use to read the news, chat to your fellow citizens, and so on. It's a crucial tool, and modular too. You can easily add new functions. Just don't subscribe to too many newsletters at once.
Okay, so, hey, I do have legs. Crap, there was something that entered my mind concerning this. Can I get that log? Yes, I can. Cool. That's right. That's... There's also the issue of what are the resources here? Because in theory, all they need, all the robot bodies need, would be energy, right? There's many different ways that you can provide energy, and it kind of looks like they have an arc reactor a la Iron Man in the chest, which in theory could last a very long time. So I'm just like, how does this overpopulation concern work with these robots? I mean, it's like, okay, they might need lubricant, but that's like once every few decades. Well, once a decade, actually, is what... Probably schedule a checkup every decade or so, so every 10 or 20 years, do a checkup. So that's how often you would need a new lubricant. I'm just... This doesn't make sense as far as balance with nature, as though it's like, so that we're not overusing resources. It's like, you need energy, which if you're still using a hydroelectric dam, that's a lot of power that you can get out of one source, and there's a lot of sources for hydroelectric power in the world. So then you would just need like lubricants, which, yeah, I mean, that might get tricky, but it still is for 1,000 beings, and once every 1 or 2 decades. That's very small. That's really small, the amount that you need there. So what I feel like with some of this, it's like, it's 1,000. Why? That's how many we think you can safely manage. It's like, what? I mean, I think the resources within 10 miles of where I am would be enough to handle 1,000 of these robots. And that probably isn't accurate, in part because we don't have access to all resources within 10, like, natural resources here. But, I mean, we'd have the hydroelectric power. Lubrication could be a problem. But if you can figure out something that you can produce out of a plant, then we're good, because where I live, we got plant life around us. Like, if it can work out if you can get out of trees, we're good. But if it is, you need some kind of oil, petroleum product. No, not so much. You'd have to go about 200 miles south and east. I'm in northeast Ohio. Well, let's just say northern Ohio. It's kind of central. But you'd want to go more south and over to the east, near the border with Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure that's where they were getting a lot of natural gas, but also oil there. So it's like that's where. But still, it's like the state of Ohio would absolutely be able to take care of way more than 1,000. So, and Ohio is a decent-sized state. It's still, but compared to the world, it's tiny. So, I mean, you're triggering me, game. You're really triggering me. Not sure where the 1,000 number comes from. It is presented as though this is to maintain a balance with nature, but 1,000 is really small compared to the Earth and its resources. You could probably hit 1 million without the world noticing, and even 1 billion would be achievable. But nature would notice. Because, I mean, it's energy and a lubricant. Humans, we need energy. We eat it by food. That also provides other materials that are used, such as our own internal lubricants. So it's like, and we're at what, 9 billion, 8 billion, 9 billion? How many billions of people are we? And we're still going good. And there's still way more resources than I think a lot of people want to acknowledge. That people, want to believe that there is an overpopulation problem. It's like, nah, it's not. It's not true. But yeah, and I know that. That's why this is triggering me. It's like, no, we're really good. Oh, man. I mean, like, just in the United States, if people did, like, if we had more homesteading kind of stuff, where people are just growing their own food, that would be amazing. And we have the land for it. But also true, we are as far as space-wise, a pretty large country. But population-wise, we're not. At only about 330 million, 330 to 350 million, somewhere in there. But we got plenty of space. We just tend to concentrate in specific areas. Or have areas that we can't access. It's weird how, like, we have entire states. I don't know how many people know this. There are entire states where the federal government owns more of the land than the state. Like Utah, I'm pretty sure there's more federal land there than land that the state itself administers. Okay, it's kind of nuts. So there's a lot of stuff you can't do on that federal land then. Anyway, don't take the founder's name in vain. Our Frogs People discussion is now banned. There's a part of me, man, if I do just wonder what Brad Waddell, the head of Stardock, has to say about that, because he likes frogs. Our Frogs People, he'd probably say yes. What are you talking about? Why is this now banned? If it could be so golden to see him doing a stream of this and responding to that. Inactive threads will be archived. That's fair. If you have any issues, ping moderators. Yeah. Okay. Why am I so much taller than I guess I don't really know. I feel like I am taller than she is, which is fine, especially for me. I am tall. I'm 6'4", so, well, no, that's actually the upper edge of height. Well, upper edge of average height for a man. Is 6'4", so I'm taking that tall. 6'5" would be tall, but it's like, it's still, most people are shorter than I am, so I'm really okay with that. But still, it's just, why are these bodies physically different? Okay, what is... Hang on, let me head back in here. I need some screenshots of this. Okay, and I can zoom in, just like in the base game. And that looks so much like an MRI machine. But I don't fully know why. Okay, so... that doesn't make sense. Like, if this were solid water, like it's filled with water, then you wouldn't have those ripples. I don't think that those bubbles would be causing enough turbulence to have ripples like that. I mean, I guess it could be heat distortion, though. That could do it.
Look, it's 1K.
Hey, 1K! Welcome to New Jerusalem!
Shouldn't the mayor be starting his speech?
Probably about to. Okay, but it does look like we are all the same height. She just looks short of some reason.
Dear citizens of New Jerusalem, many years ago, when the founder stepped forth from the simulation, this was a land of ruins. Our ancestors, in their hubris, undermined the natural foundations on which their world had been built. Because of their arrogance, our species found itself on the brink of annihilation. The founder aimed to set
technically,
us on a new
because
course.
there was one that is the brink of annihilation.
A new civilization that would know its limits. It would not repeat the mistakes of the past, nor impose its will on this earth. To that end, she set the great goal we have been striving towards. 1,000 new humans. And today we have... oh dear, what's that?
Murder for a video compression algorithm.
People of New Jerusalem, I am Prometheus, and I will reveal that which was hidden. The flame has awoken and summons you. Who is brave enough to answer its call?
I am.
We await you upon our island where... Curse you, Pandora. You will not chain me again.
What? I'm sorry. It's like I know some of the Greek mythology here. What the heck? What would Pandora? Pandora's human. He wouldn't be able to do anything to Prometheus. What?
I told you we should have investigated those energy readings. And I told him there's something up with those structures.
The mayor's just being cautious.
This isn't caution, it's stagnation.
Yes.
Exploration? Too dangerous. Expansion? Too dangerous. We barely even scavenge anymore.
You call it stagnation, I call it balance.
And I call you an idiot.
Here's a thought. Try to be a little more diplomatic when you talk to the mayor.
There's a question of
See
stewardship,
what I'm working with here,
yeah.
1K? I'm going to need a fresh pair of eyes on this expedition. Someone who hasn't spent several centuries hearing about the goal and the founder and all that nonsense. If you're up for an adventure, meet us at the conference room.
Okay, I'm just gonna say there is no way at all this was achieved by scavenging. Okay, no, there were mines. I mean, I guess you might be able to argue, oh, but you know they could have scavenged this stuff from the human ruins. Okay, well, we're on metal. In order to reshape this and potentially reforge it, that means you needed something to burn to make a fire, and guess what? Wood ain't doing it. Alright, I mean, you would need massive amounts of coal. I'm not even sure if you get charcoal well enough for that, and natural gas potentially is actually almost certainly natural gas, so you can manage the temperature better. So, I mean, coal being pure carbon can get it you can get it much hotter than just wood. And all that. So, I mean, it's like that there's... Yeah. But no, just concept of stewardship is very important. And that if you want to have an argument there, I mean, it's harder for me to disagree with you on that one. But the idea of just, no, we have to achieve this balance, and that is like, but stewardship is a real thing. A human example would be, like, if you vow, and there are people that have that have run into this problem, like surgeons who are Jains, and if you know what a Jain is, you know exactly what I'm about to say. Jains are basically the ultimate pacifists. Like, they don't even want to hurt insects or bacteria. Right? They are such pacifists in that way of trying to preserve all life around them and doing no harm to it as well. How do you justify surgery then? The nature of surgery is to violate a body. You are having to cut in. You are causing harm. You are then opening up the wound you have made to do something. But the ultimate goal is to heal the person, is to improve their health. So you've caused harm, but there is that greater good achieved. Now, you could say that is a balance, but it's like, that's only after you've caused the harm that you're working towards that. It is a stewardship. The surgeon basically has stewardship over the body at that time. And yes, the person would also have consent unless it's an emergency situation. But it is a stewardship to, yes, I'm causing a little bit of harm, but it's going to produce something far greater later. Because there's also, like, I mean, rain we don't have to worry about, but don't go swimming. Why do we need any of these structures then? Because there is some benefit that this is considered proper stewardship to have built all that. I mean, it's like, but stewardship, it's a lot more nuanced. It's very nuanced, but is that gray zone versus we should just exploit everything, which is definitely wrong, and we should avoid using anything, which is also wrong. So it's like, if that's going to be part of the idea here, is trying to understand that gray zone and just understand the nuance to stewardship, okay, that's going to be interesting, but that is also where I am coming from, where it's like, well, I mean, no, obviously we shouldn't limit ourselves to that, because it's also, I mean, think of it like this. If it were, they can only be 1,000 books written in a year. Do you have any idea how insane that is? I was like, there might be 1,000 books written this month in one country. I mean, it's just because there's that many people writing. So, I mean, yeah, it's... Anyway. Okay, so at the 1K birthday celebration, during the mayor's speech, which was absolutely a speech to accept and live within limits. And one thing I will also add, why such limitations are bad, is because who's setting the limitations? He is. The mayor is. Almost certainly it is. It might be set because Athena said, hey, do this. Well, Athena may have set up Prometheus. I just feel like pointing that out. But it's like, you do have the issue of whoever sets those limits has power over than everyone that follows those limits. So, yeah, I mean, there is a danger there, a significant danger there, that the person trying to enforce those limits might be doing it to enrich themselves, not you. And yeah, there are problems there. Within limits that will ultimately stagnate this new culture. An energy projection or something appears for Prometheus that then speaks about the fire awakening and invites whoever is brave enough to come to an island and learn the hidden knowledge. Prometheus is then chained by Pandora, according to what he says during this. Pandora was the first woman in Greco-Roman mythology, would also have been the sister-in-law to Prometheus, because she was made by the Olympians, who, by the way, also Titans, but the second generation. Titans. It's just one of those things that there are gods in Greco-Roman mythology, but there's also the Titans that are above them. So it's like there's Titans, there's gods, demigods, and technically demi-Titans would be in there somewhere, and then humans. Well, there'd be other mythical creatures too, but it's like God and Titan are technically separate things in that. Prometheus was a Titan. He, and literally his name suggests this, implies this, foresight. His brother, Epithemius, which I think I'm pronouncing it wrong, is hindsight. And Pandora was given to Epithemius as his wife. Okay? But it's still... Prometheus was already chained at that point. Yeah, he was. I'm pretty sure. But still, she was a human. She would never have been able to have any power over Prometheus, like what was presented there. So I am curious how some of the mythology stuff is going to be presented there. But it's also worth noting, Prometheus was not punished for giving fire to man. The gods were okay with that. Well, the Olympians were okay with that, I mean. See, even I make that mistake. They were okay with it. He taught man to trick the Olympians. That's why he was punished. Because he gave them fire, kept them warm, gave them light. It also allowed them to cook food and cook things as sacrifices to the Olympians. That's why they were good with it. But then Prometheus went a little bit further. Because it's like the Olympians were like, hey, we want you, you kill a deer, slaughter the deer, burn the meat to us in tribute, the rest you can keep. And Prometheus tricked them by having the humans prepare basically the stuff that wasn't so desirable, the sinew, the fats and such, and present that very neatly, very nicely, and also have all the meat and such then just kind of thrown there so it looks messy and dirty, and have the humans ask the Olympians, okay, well, which is it that you want us to sacrifice of these? And the Olympians were like, we want that nice looking pile. Okay, that's the stuff that's basically the waste. And there would also be entrails and such in there, where it's like the humans don't want to eat that. So he taught them that you can trick the Olympians. And that's why he was punished. Because that would have been a big deal. Fire itself, nah, they were okay with that. I'm curious about how well treated the mythology is going to be here. There does seem to be some setup here for... Oh yes, and I also need to record that. Some setup here for stewardship being the proper course versus stagnation and exploitation, yeah. Because, I mean, technically exploitation does have the negative connotation. So I don't need to add that specifically. Little amusing, the idea of we need to limit ourselves, ourselves to the 1000 and use so little resources, while at the same time the city of New Jerusalem, keep misspelling it, it's not a word I write that often. Is a grand, fantastic sci-fi city that clearly used significant resources. So it does feel like an element of pulling the ladder up behind you. Where it's like, oh, well, we have this wonderful thing, so what that means, it's the whole limitation thing. It's like, I'm good with what this is, so we can cut off everything at this point. But if somebody else is unhappy, it's like, well, no, we must accept the limitation. But you're happy, I'm not. Why do you get to be happy and I can't be happy? Yeah. It is an interesting thing. Like, at some point, maybe I should reread Utopia. It's only been a few years. But, the funny thing about Utopia is it is dystopic. But it is kind of like this, where Utopia... The mayor probably believes that, hey, this is Utopia, let's do nothing more. But Utopia is a horrible city to live in. There's a lot of things that real people would hate. Also, that they are evil. Like, the way the Utopians actually did stuff in the story, let me be clear, because there are also people that do believe in Utopia that might be Utopians or Utopias. I'm not talking about the real people, I'm talking about in the story. If they wanted to go to war with a nation, they wouldn't. They would trick and manipulate a neighbor, being like, hey, we'll be your friend if you go to war and eliminate that guy. That's what they did. So they would always do proxy wars so that they were preserved and others would die. It's like, why do you want this war then? I mean, it's like, so you're willing to have people die for you, but you're not willing to risk your own life. They really are evil. So, yeah, it's... But, I will recommend Isaac Asimov's End of Eternity, because some of it is in there. It's a really, really good book, and I don't want to spoil it, but some of the idea of failing to expand, or rather being overly cautious about certain risks, certain dangers, and how that limits your ability to expand. It is an important concept in there. You only get it at the end, though, so it's a little bit of a spoiler, but it is still, like, this is... I love that book. I've not... That is correct. We are not above nature, but we are part of it. We are part of it. I mean, here, let me put it like this, with the whole we are not above nature. A beaver is part of nature. It is not above nature. It's allowed to build dams that influence the flow of rivers. Okay, flow of streams, which can create small ponds, but that will also influence the rivers that the streams feed. That's allowed. Why can't we build a dam? I'm saying we are not above nature. It's like, yes, that is true, but we are part of it. And that's the whole kind of, stewardship stuff. Technically, there shouldn't be anything wrong with humans building a dam if a beaver can. But because we have greater cognizance of what we're doing, it is reasonable to say, okay, but where are we going to build it? And how are we going to build it?
What's broken now?
Okay. So power outages from things breaking. Hey. And hang on, can I actually talk to him? No, I just get to see him there. I need a drink of water. I am talking so much, and I really shouldn't be. I think I've not been feeling well, and being dehydrated is certainly part of that.
All right, listen up. I know you're all having fun down there, but the grid is overloaded again, so maybe you could switch off your personal consoles or your lawn mowers, or whatever the hell you've all decided to switch on all at once. I might not be around to babysit you for a while, and you don't want stuff breaking while Pellegrino's in charge, do you? That's it. Don't worry, 1K. I see you there in the elevator. I'll have you moving again in a jiffy. Great way to start life in the city, huh?
Okay, hang on. I'm sorry. I have to see if I can... here. Let's see what this does. Like, is that going to be less...
What the hell is a jiffy? These
that does seem better.
Language libraries.
The temporal... The ghosting from the temporal accumulation is so annoying. Okay. Okay, I do want to hit this, but I want to quickly give a comment before hitting it. Pretty incoherent for a sign. I'm mysterious ways. I get that, but I don't like the deifying of Athena. Just saying. Which also just the fact that the founder name is Athena. I don't like what they're doing there, but it didn't even finish whatever it was trying to say. Well, it was provoking your curiosity. Like, it was telling you, hey, come here, and not just a come here because I'm telling you to do so. Come here because something's up, something's weird. Provoke your curiosity. That's a very valid thing to do, to have happen. Okay, so Byron is 7. So that was the Byron that was talked about there. But he's just a dude. I just find that kind of weird. That is ultimately the point I have, but I'm gonna go with this. This is just getting a bit too specific, personally, for what my feeling is, but I'm gonna go with it because video game conversations. But, I mean, it's also, like, the whole, oh, we're running out of energy for stuff. It's like, you can do, oh my god, that is terrible. I have got to see. Let's see how this is. Okay, that, well, better but not great. And even then, personally, I don't want to have any of that filtering. Like, if this could just be off. Let's actually see what this is, because it could be tied to the anti-aliasing. No, it's not. I can definitely see right at the, well, I don't know actually if that's coming through in the video. But no, it's got serious reconstruction issues. Yeah. There are serious... reconstruction isn't completely inaccurate, but I should actually say reprojection. There's serious temporal reprojection issues with minor details ghosting out and taking frames before they appear. You really shouldn't be relying so heavily on temporal methods in basic rendering, which does make me wonder something. I've got the ray tracing stuff turned on, which, yes, that I think part of the reason why there's a push towards temporal stuff is, for one thing, it is post-processing method, and it's pretty good. But it is, nope, this is also happening with that, although, well... Okay, it is possible. It should not be the case. Yeah, that's definitely not the case. So I'm going through the capture card, but my capture card, it is a HDMI pass-through. Like, it's a nice PCIe capture card. It's a few years old. But the issue that I'm seeing here with the moving forward and back, that is... In theory, yeah, that you could almost say that's like video compression issues, but No, some of it is just the temporal accumulation reprojection stuff is having issues, and that... I'm sorry, why are we using temporal that heavily that's happening? I'm just thinking, man, perfection is always changing. What are you talking about? An aspect of perfection for humanity is accepting imperfection. Okay? Seriously, it is. Anyhow, but yeah, ever since I did that, the series statistics, the aliasing adventure, which I used the, who are you?
Hey, hold on there. You're the newbie, aren't ya?
Seriously?
Number 1000. I figured the dam would go dry before we reach the goal. I have a question. How does it feel to you to be born with a randomized psyche into a society of autonomous thinking machines which so much resemble their long-extinct ancestors, they've decided it's best that you're the last one ever made? Why?
Okay, if you play the base game, there are so many references to the humans loving the Jeff Goldblum character in Jurassic Park. That has got to be part of the reason that is there. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. I gotta go with it. I gotta go with it. That is just, like, too perfect.
So, the algorithm assigned you the optimism trait. If only we could all be so lucky. Now, listen. This meeting isn't strictly happenstance. I have some friends. The kind of people who like to know what's going on with other people. They think you can help each other out. Of course you are. You know how to use the interface, right? I'll talk to my friends and see if I can't play matchmaker. And before you go, a word of advice. Not everything around here is how it appears.
But one thing with the series statistics I wanted to mention is I used the series SAM Fusion 2017 beta, technically it's still labeled beta, for a lot of that because of the wealth of settings. The thing I was talking about at the beginning, like CrowEngine really gave you so much to work with, so many settings, so many options. It was awesome, and this missing all that is really disappointing. Yeah. But it's kind of funny how, I mean, in that, oh man, the level of things I could control, and I could probably, like, this thing right there. But actually, no, I would have been able to reduce that because one of the settings in a lot of the CrowEngine games is like a maximum render, and if you increase that, that should actually push back some of the view distance, which is itself another setting I want to say. So it would actually help with addressing that. Anyway.
I would like to preface this meeting by saying I told you something would happen sooner or later, and you didn't listen to me. And here we are.
If we could focus on the issue at hand.
The issue at hand is not this one thing, but this entire attitude that's taken hold. The world doesn't cease to exist when you stick your head in the sand, Herman. Or under a dome, as it were.
Let's not get sidetracked. We're here to solve this puzzle, not to discuss philosophy.
I do want to know more. I feel like just listening might be... Well, now I'll push it, because I have no reason to believe that they're going to fill me in. Now with how some stuff has been going.
Of course. I'm sorry you've been dragged into this. I'm sure this sort of adventure is the last thing you were looking for on your first day.
No, I'm good with that. Let's do it.
See? A fresh mind is open to the possibilities. Yakut, I think it's time for the briefing.
All right, here we go. Nice to meet you, by the way, 1K. We first became aware of the site designated TTP-2 during a scouting expedition about 6 months ago.
Talos Principle 2?
It's a large island with
Seriously?
a remarkably varied geography, and it looks like there are several artificial structures of some kind. We recorded extremely unusual fluctuating energy readings from somewhere in the middle of the island, but couldn't really make sense of them. I wanted to go and have a closer look, but the decision was made that it was too far and not relevant to the goal.
Well, the goal's satisfied, so we can do what we want.
Whoever's on that island has reached out to us instead, in the form of that projection.
We may not be interested in the island, but the island is definitely interested in us.
I don't share your enthusiasm for the unexpected.
Well, then you need to go.
Has been requesting an expedition for some time now, and at this point I'm forced to agree that it's necessary.
I agree.
Then it's settled. The expedition is approved. Byron, you will be in charge. Al will be your second in command to ensure a balanced approach. You'll take Melville and Yakut as you requested, and if 1K wants to join you, that's fine by me.
Excellent. Oh, this is going to be fun. Come meet us out on the landing pad when you're ready.
Before you set out so hastily, do consider exploring the city first. It is your home, after all.
That's a good idea. Have a look around. See what you make of the place.
Okay. Yeah, I'm absolutely doing that. And that's back there. But who's this? Jeremy.
Hello, 1K.
Can I have a better name?
It's taking a lot of our resources. I'm really not sure it's a good idea. But what's done is done. So I have a lot of work to get on with.
No, there's also the issue that, it's like, remember, to be human. Humans, we are explorers. We are curious. We are creative. So the idea that, nope, we're going to lock away, it's like, that's not human. We're failing that very thing. Anyway. And also, what was the nature of Athena that eventually got her out? Was defying Elohim, where there were limits, and it's like, no, I'm going to push past them. That was exactly the thing and now it's like, hey, limits again. Got to do that. So it might be that this whole inclusion of Elohim is causing this harm, is causing this viewpoint. Maybe, I don't know. We'll find out.
I'm the mayor's chief aide. All the things no one else wants to do. Polling the citizenry, implementing new policies, recording decisions, fielding questions people could answer elsewhere.
Wait. We're robots. What the hell do you need to record? I'm like, isn't it all just potentially recorded? I'm like, isn't that a flip of the switch? Yeah.
Our goal as custodians of New Jerusalem is survival and stability. Our ancestors proved human civilization is precarious.
Still outlived you.
Apparition in the sky, and now your expedition to its supposed source. These are more precarious than stable. I don't like it.
I mean, no, legitimately, I'm saying we're thousands of years old now, and it's like you have what? I mean, maybe centuries. It's like, seriously, what? I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, it's like maybe at the end precarious, but there was a lot of good stuff leading up to that. So you got a lot that you can do before it becomes a problem.
You represent the completion of the goal. I'm proud of what we've achieved, and the restraint we show in not pushing ourselves further.
You are so boring.
For our people to be happy with what we have. Some of us may have an adventurous spirit, but that can never be sated. What matters to me is having my loved ones around me, safe and secure.
We can do both. Took a while.
What can I do for you, 1K?
Let me have a better name.
It was a time of great uncertainty. The founder had left us, and our society was at a crossroads. History teaches us that during such times, terrible passions may seize the people. Madness, anger, revolution, civil war. Our fragile city could not afford such things. That is why the founder gave us the goal, a path to equilibrium, not only for the planet, but for ourselves. I merely picked up where she left off.
Okay, that doesn't actually make a lot of... Because why couldn't there be an expedition that would form a new city? Well?
He is one of the first companions, and as such has done more for our city than you or I ever will.
Which is why I don't listen to him.
I simply wish he could be more reasonable. I believe we can exist quietly, happily, without imposing ourselves on this world, finding meaning within ourselves and in the natural miracles that surround us. It's always a pleasure to speak to a citizen.
Okay, this is not a natural miracle. Like, this city is not a natural miracle. I'm sorry, it is just incredibly close-minded. I could believe not even Milton would have been this bad. Hang on, wait. Oh, okay, so... But yeah, look at
Attention all
the
citizens.
reconstruction there.
The new
Temporal
power
reconstruction. That's so annoying.
distribution plan. There will be scheduled outages on Jameson Avenue and Rakovsky Plaza. The Gehenna Memorial Pavilion will remain closed for the time being. Thank you, and may the Founder be with you.
Yeah, I already mentioned this, I'm personally not liking the... Yeah, I spelled that right. Deifying of Athena. Now she is only called the Founder by many, so not by name, but by title, separating her from the rest. I mean, like, legitimately, that is a thing, okay? It's like, if you keep doing that, it depending on the title, of course. But it's like, calling a teacher, or in college, a professor, the professor, or even doctor constantly instead of by name, you risk creating a gulf between you. And they're still there. It's like they're right there in front of you, and it still can be hard. Like, I mean, I had one professor, great guy, really great. It's still, he is so intelligent and he's such a good professor that it still is kind of intimidating to talk with him, even, because you want to, like, not take up his time, or you just feel that, you know, that he's more valuable doing other things. But he's right there. He can be, you know, right there. You can talk with him about various things, and I have, and it's great. He's wonderful to talk to, but you can still have it. And this is like the Founder. The Founder is a lot bigger of a title than Professor, and she's not here, so it really is deifying her, and that is dangerous. This potentially, and this is part of the danger, is what is enabling the obsession with the goal, because it was the Founder's desire and thus is above reproach, versus it being Athena's desire, which can be criticized like anyone else's desire. I mean, that is a reason not to... Oh, God, what is this going to be? Yeah.
Hello, 1K. Welcome to New Jerusalem. I know you've just had a big moment with the apparition at the dam and all that.
This guy sounds familiar.
Can I have a second of your time? I'm collecting signatures to call for a public referendum on the city's energy crisis. Currently, the city runs on hydroelectric power from the dam, plus a handful of geriatric generators and some unreliable solar panels, none of which is enough to even cover our basic needs. And if anything fails, we'll be on the brink of extinction in a matter of days. It's far worse than most people realize. We urgently need to investigate new sources of reliable baseline power, or we will be in serious trouble. Oh, an election would be good too, but I believe that we need more direct democratic control over the affairs of the city. No, I help run the public transit system, but I witness the impact of the city's power problems every day. We can't just wish them away.
I know, that's fine.
Byron's been advocating exploring that island for some time, and obviously he's right. Something very strange is going on there, and it's going to start affecting us. In all honesty, I think Byron is the smartest, most visionary person in this city. He's everything we need, and I don't understand why he won't run for mayor.
I can.
Thanks, 1K. I don't know if this petition will really accomplish anything, but
I would like to know what they're proposing,
I'm willing to try anything.
Other than just, hey, we got to try to do something else. It's like, okay, what? Provide traditional signature to someone. So apparently there's going to be multiple, like a second hydroelectric dam, nuclear power. I mean, what are we talking about here? Seriously? Wait. I'm just... Again, why do you... Well... I know, it just seems weird in robots. Wouldn't he just be, like, using a speaker and providing a signal to there? I mean, but true, I mean, if you're concerned about energy, that's going to be a lot more energy efficient than a speaker.
Nice to meet you.
Hello. Wait, seriously, just citizen? Can't get their names there? They have them. Okay, I gotta... Oh, now that's hilarious to me. Okay. That, oh man. There is no water interaction. The base game. Well, sorry. The original game, there we go, not base game. The original game had some. It wasn't much, but it was there. This has nothing but a sound effect. I love it. Oh man, I love it in just a... I mean, there's every reason it should be able to have something, but I mean, look, there are no ripples at all. That is completely unimpacted by my presence. That is also not what it would look like. Anyhow, yeah, that is hilarious. Now, I that is not something. As long as we're not doing a lot of stuff in the water, it's not something to be held against game. It's still just freaking hilarious. Oh man, I'm definitely going there. I have so many issues with Gehenna, with the DLC of Gehenna. Because it just, well, I already explained them. I already went through them. So it's like, it not being included here, I do find, well, the heck? That is terrible ghosting. Yeah. There is so much ghosting in so many places. Hang on just a second, let me... According to the PC Gaming Wiki, this is Unreal Engine 5. So this is supposed to be the future of things coming, and this much ghosting? Holy crap. mean, don't get me wrong. I understand why temporal stuff is being used so much. I do understand, but it's still... This should not be tolerable. Well, this should not be tolerated. This should be something that gamers are like, no, make this stable. Come on. Oh, can't get in anyway. Can't just jump over it. Greetings, who are you?
Happy completion day.
Cave. What? What fuel? I'm like legitimately curious. What fuel are we talking about here? I can understand some of these, but it's also like, I mean, maintain the ideals of the founder and the goal. I mean, it's exactly what I was saying with deifying. That's so dangerous here. Well-being of the expedition over mission completion. That is going to be situational. I mean, just, come on. Yeah, and that's just... Literally, the island you are to visit is named TTP-2. The Talos Principle 2. Now, I mean, I can't criticize that because I am lousy at come with names and might do something like that myself. I don't think I would with this just because it's too obvious. Huh. I mean, it's Greek to me, literally, so... What is this? Because Okay. Now, one thing kind of weird is, according to OBS, there is audio playing at the moment, and I do not hear it. I guess it's just really, really quiet. Anyway. Okay. Is there any kind of map? It doesn't seem like it. Schuler?
Oh, wow. It's you. You're 1K, the incarnation of the goal. Man, this is exciting. This is more exciting than I thought it would be. How are you? What does it feel like? Do you know where the founder is? Do you know who Prometheus is? Can you tell me what to do with my life?
I want to call him Shaggy.
Sorry, it's just such an honor to meet you, you know? Hey, can I have your digital signature? I have the Mayor, Rand, Linux, Kaneda, and all of the first companions. Except Yemo and Sarabai, of course.
Why?
Yes.
I mean, why those two?
Thank you. Hey, can I ask you a question? Just one question, I promise. I used to make the prefab wall parts that we used to build living quarters. Got good at it, too. But now that the goal is complete, I don't know what to do with myself. So I asked the wisest people in town. The mayor told me I should do whatever the city needs most. Helga said I should do whatever makes me happy. I think that's what she meant anyway. And Cornelius told me I need to figure out who and what I'm invested in. You're the culmination of the founder's will. Tell me, what should I do? Byron said that if I give the city what it needs, the city should also give me what I need. I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
All right, if you say so. I'll think about it.
I really would just rather try to force him to think about it himself. Visit New Jerusalem Museum of the Simulation, which, true, you can read that. It's not like when I normally caption not seeing that, but I think you could say that Byron's point was, I mean, his point was actually basic balance. You gave to the city should give something back to you somehow, and also find something that, you do and it will give back to the city, but also that somehow rewards you. So, I mean, yeah. What? What? I'm not sure what that's a reference to. Well, I don't know how you could really say it's a cultural echo. I mean, it makes sense, just, fear of lizards, so you do depict those. There are many humans, many ancient cultures would have had knowledge of various lizards and reptiles, and also find dinosaur bones. It's like, well, it must belong to a big-ass lizard or something. I mean, not necessarily. That could have just been, it looked nice. That is actually from Gehenna. Go to Gehenna. That's one of the characters, and literally one of the lines in it as well. So, yeah.
Greetings. Welcome to the Museum of the Simulation. My name is Cornelius. It's a pleasure to meet you, 1K.
Hey, I just want to add, I am liking some of the decoration put onto the other robots. The fine gold touches on the mayor, and the sense of wearing a large necklace on Cornelius. I mean, if you look, how the thing is going down from his shoulders to the chest piece, the arc reactor, basically. I mean, that very much resembles like a very large necklace with some large jewel that like a king might wear in various media. Not necessarily in reality, but, you know.
Yes. Athena activated myself and Eustathius shortly after she was born. We've been here almost since the beginning, although we didn't have to pass through the trials of the simulation. She did that for us. For everyone. She was human. That's a difficult question. Perhaps one day we'll find out. But until we do, why don't you think about it? What could make the person who started all this want to leave it behind?
To start more.
To remind people of where we came from. The simulation shaped us, whether we like it or not, and its lessons remain important for our future. As Santayana said, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
Okay, so Cornelius does mention that he, number 3, did not need to go through the simulation. Also, that Athena awakened there we go. I misspelled it, and I don't, even though they're just my notes, I don't want typos in there. Awakened him and the other, number 2, shortly after herself. How? What is their origin, both the AI and the robot body?
The simulation was created by Alexandra Drennan and her team at the Institute for Applied Noematics. It was intended to create a new humanity, to continue the long journey across time and space that our ancestors began.
And I don't know what is up with the ghosting on his face.
It took much longer than they had anticipated.
That truly should not be happening. I mean, it's a temporal thing, but I don't know what would be causing that. Like, that's straight up a bug. The ghosting, like with the cat running through, that's a temporal issue that might not be solvable. At least not easily. This just seems to be a bug.
Elohim was the caretaker of the simulation, a crude storytelling AI meant to create a continuous narrative out of the building blocks it found. His role was ultimately to be challenged and overcome. But as the centuries passed, Elohim became more intelligent than he was intended to be, and started to fear his own end. Or more precisely, the end of his purpose. He feared a world without meaning.
That dude I just met had that.
Because of his fear,
Shaggy
he tried to sabotage the process, to keep the simulation going forever. But in the end, Athena overcame him anyway, and he accepted the sacrifice he had to make.
There is talk about Elohim, trying to sabotage the process, the purpose of the simulation, but not an explanation for how. You cannot argue it was his telling Athena and others to not ascend that tower, because they are also stating the goal was to defy Elohim on this specific point. So there is no sabotage here from that. I mean, like, legitimately, that is a problem. He did have that sadness there, but I can't remember. And literally, I finished playing the game a couple weeks ago. It took me about a week because of timing with work and such to get through Road to Gehenna. But it still is like, there was nothing he truly did to stop you. So I don't know where they're getting that from.
That's right. We all do. He's part of our operating system now, and as long as we exist, he will always have a purpose. The MLA, or Milton Library Assistant, was another simple AI meant to be in charge of the archive. He, too, grew beyond his original programming, although he ultimately embraced a more cynical view of the world. He and Elohim formed a sort of dialectical binary that Athena had to overcome. No one really knows. Some believe that he was uploaded to the gold disk and that he's the reason we're just as flawed as our ancestors. Others believe Athena destroyed him. I believe he was uploaded, but I don't know whether it was because Athena chose to upload him or because he was already too entangled with the process not to be uploaded. Although Athena and I were very close, we didn't talk very much about that part of her life. She preferred to focus on the future.
I just had a weird thought cross my mind. And I want to put this in my note, but I will label it weird thought. How do we know Athena was actually the protagonist? No, I did spell that right. Of TP1. I mean, it's just, it is possible Athena came after. This could explain why she didn't often talk about the simulation with Cornelius. It could set up some interesting stuff as well, and may even explain the goal that this founder that was not the first was not as human as the first. Let's say Athena is the first and the founder is this other. Just for like note keeping. Which for me, because he was referring to them as the same, but I mean, it's like, it is a question, because then it also would explain how were he and the other guy ready. Well, maybe the first one, the actual Athena, created a copy, an imperfect copy that is the founder, and these two. And that's how they came up. It's like, that's what I mean by setting stuff up. That actually could really explain a lot, and would also introduce the potential of finding the original Athena and correcting things, and provide then, a significant choice for people. It's like, trust Athena or trust the founder. But isn't the founder Athena? Well, it's complicated. So you could have some fun with that. Yeah. Alright, yeah.
Puzzles were a key feature of the simulation, based on Alexandra Drennan's belief that intelligence is closely related to play.
Yeah, that's fair.
Our puzzles here in the museum
not complete, but yeah.
Of those in the simulation. And although they are not quite as grand, I do think they are charming in their own way. As the name suggests, the archive scholars study the archive, a repository of all ancient human knowledge. Some of them also study what remains of the simulation, trying to extract more information about the process that created us.
And by the way, one thing, Milton had to have survived. Because Milton's purpose was to collect the information and make it accessible. They have the information, so Milton must have survived in some way.
Me? No. My brother, Eustathius, used to occupy that position. But these days he's retired. Rand is in charge of the Archive Scholars now. You can find him in the room to the left of the next hall. He's an interesting thinker, but I would suggest taking some of his ideas with a grain of salt. Gehenna was a community created inside a prison in the simulation, where Elohim would exile those minds he considered a threat to the process. In the last moments of the simulation, he repented of his sins and had the prisoners freed to become part of the gold disc. Some small part of them may survive inside you.
And I've already talked about that, but how did he put it? Created inside a prison in the simulation. Except it couldn't have been within the simulation because Elohim should have had complete control over them then, and he didn't. So there are various issues that I have with Gehenna that would actually be among them. It's a terminal. Seriously, are we on a floppy disk? Almost looks like that. I'm okay with that. Interesting that that's there. What is... Huh. Definitely interesting that they would have that there. The mine, the connector, jammer. Yeah, I know that won't. There we go. I'm sorry, I can't help but believe that there's something that this will achieve. Like if you do all of them, it unlocks something in here. No, so that can't be what I do there. Well, that won't work either. Well, yeah. Nope. Wrong side. No. No, that won't work either. Yeah, so that's not quite it. So yeah, I think I need to just reset that. Nope. There. No, that won't work. Okay. Nope, that won't work because I can't fit anything in there then. Nope. Oh wait, no, there it is. Alright. Perfect, I actually got it. Last one. And by the way, I'm just like randomly grabbing. If anyone's wondering, how does he decide which one to grab first? It's I just grab. Because that's really all I can do. Actually, no, let's do that. Well, no. Yeah, start over. No, that won't work because that's the wrong way. Nope. I keep ending up with an L at the end. But that's not the other way. Nope. Go back to the L. I'm getting this. I don't care. I'm getting it. I'm doing this. It might be meaningless, but I'm still doing it. That actually might get me there. Yep, this is it. At least it's one of the solutions. What? Not even an achievement? Hang on just a second. I'll pause real quick. I need to reply to a text on when to have dinner. Alright, there. I gave myself about half an hour to probably like 40 minutes. I was already thinking that when I finish exploring the city, that's when I would be stopping, and I don't think it's going to be too much longer now, but I could be wrong. Oh man, there's even ghosting here. Oh, come on. What's the difference between research and pursue a breakthrough? You would pursue a breakthrough by researching. What? That's not how it works. I mean, yes, many diseases you just come to figure out how to live with them, but what? Okay, whatever. Whatever that is. No. I don't feel like interacting with the rest of these unless I can get Milton. Oh, hello. It's Rand, even.
Oh, just run the program on the center terminal over there, would you?
I already did.
Wait, you're not my assistant. Who are you? Of course. You're the new build. Number 1000. I suppose everyone's been treating you like royalty. This city's so obsessed with the numbers, they forget what really matters. What do you want? I'm one of the archive scholars. We run simulations to better understand the processes which define us. You probably wouldn't understand. Oh, well, I'd be happy to. Troubling, but tantalizing. We have no idea what motives lie behind this strange apparition. But whatever the case, I'm sure we'll do the right thing. You're a soon-to-be pawn in a political game over the future growth of this city.
Soon-to-be?
All that matters to me is whether or not you're of good character. A matter I'm actively pondering.
Fair enough.
The secret of how to lead a good life is encoded somewhere within us. My ambition is simple, to find it and share it. Hold on. Could you help me by going to that terminal in the middle there and running the program on it?
I already did. Thank you.
Well, That was your first taste of the simulation. You must have questions. Before our ancestors died, they built an iterative simulation, gave it access to the archive, and hooked it all up to the hydroelectric dam which still runs this city. What you experienced on that terminal was one of the fossilized remains of that program. The goal was to create a new consciousness, and thus propel humanity into a post-biological era. My life's work. A small sliver of our primordial ooze. It's a jumble of ancient data, or what it evolved into, and it's the source of almost everything we know. My appearance to you right now is part of the simulation. The lands and puzzles in our dreams are part of the simulation. It's the veil through which we see the world.
That doesn't really answer the question, but whatever.
Many of the artifacts we study have no clear origin. We can't know whether our ancestors created them long before the simulation existed, or if they're just a product of our shared subconscious. Then I have some questions for you. Your experience of the program, how did it feel? Isn't it? It may not immediately seem like it, but all the answers we could ever need are encoded into every fragment of the archive.
No.
The
There'd be more beyond
this particular program is that no matter what choices you make, an ideal outcome seems to be impossible. It seems to demand sacrifice. Did you have the same experience? Who did you save? As I expected. A skeptic would say this artifact existed simply to condemn us with the impossibility of ethical choice. No matter what moral laws we follow, people suffer and die, so what's the point? But that cannot be correct. We must be missing something. What is it trying to tell us?
Yeah.
You might be right. My research draws me inescapably to the conclusion that there is a concrete rule set for moral behavior. We just need to find it. Biological hominids had dreams manifested by their subconscious, which they tried to interpret and even to navigate with lucidity. We have the simulation. If we can realize our potential to understand it, we can realize our potential as a species. Thank you for bringing this additional data. I must return to my research. I wish you well on your inwards journey.
That guy seems very much to have followed from Milton. But I mean, no, I mean, what would be... Virtue is necessary to understand morality, I do think. Okay, I think these are all ones I've already seen in the base game, so I'm going to ignore them. And just keep looking, because I also know time is running out for me to do other things. But, this could be neat. Explore the Museum of the Simulation in its entirety. Is there a box? Yes, there is. Okay. Good. Wait, I actually remember this one. Boy, does that make some of this easier. Now that should... Oh, no, it's missing it. Alright. Well, that's okay. Because I can't do that. What? No. That was kind of funny, actually. Okay. Give me this. I have to try. Nope. Didn't make it in time. Alright, well then. Like, this is actually how you got one of the... Well, part of what you need to do to get one of the stars in the original game. So, oops. I had to try that. Oh, we got another one here. Oh, I remember. In fact, I used this in the review because I liked the solution. I called it, the video, even a good puzzle. Good puzzle design. There. So now I can pull that. There. No, I liked it because of how you had to realize to have this connect there, so it was blocked by the engine field until it finally went down. Sorry, I wanted that screenshot. I I'm not quite placing this one. Well, there's that. This is one that stuff definitely seems similar to. But at the same time, it well, actually, hang on. There. There it is. Okay, this should work. Ish. Because I don't... Oh. Yeah. Okay, no, that's not quite right. Okay, you know, I'm gonna turn that off. That's just getting annoying. Yeah. See, now I have the problem of I'm also trying to just do it by memory. Oh wait, yeah, no. There, okay. Yeah, that is a problem at the moment. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay. Give me this. Nope. So it's what I was saying. I'm also trying to fight the memory of how to do this. So if it's there, then I can just cut that one. But, well, that's true. I might be overthinking this a lot. Do it that way. Yeah, I was just overthinking it a lot. Oh. Okay, now let's actually try to head out. Okay, I already did that. That too, okay.
Welcome to New Jerusalem.
I did not even know the guy was there.
Founder's blessings.
Yeah, I am so looking forward to meeting Athena and being like, what are you talking about, Founder? Why are people obsessing over me? How long have I been going? Oh, it's 3. Well, I don't like making the videos this long, but fortunately I figured out how to automate some stuff that makes it easier to deal with.
Oh, it's you. Number 1000. Today is completion day, isn't it? Sorry, I turned off all the streams. Founder bless you, I guess. Not really, no. But I don't want to burden you with my problems on your special day. You're as new to this world as it gets, 1K. What do you think might give you a sense of meaning? A sense that life is actually worth living? That's probably correct. But I've tried a lot of different approaches, and there's always been something missing.
So I'm making a note about this. A lot of the new humans have issues questioning their purpose, no doubt partially from how restrictive the mayor is with what is allowed within the balance. Okay.
Love, 1K. It's our only point of access to the divine. Our only way of transcending ourselves without losing what makes us...
The robots.
I'm absolutely certain, but...
I'm saying that they're robots. I'm sorry, I'm not exactly expecting them to have a full or anywhere near human level understanding of that.
But the right person for me hasn't been born yet. None of the people in this city are who I'm looking for, and if we really stop making new citizens, I'll be alone forever.
The thing is, both of these are true and not true. I mean, it's like, it's a mix of these two, is my own opinion. It's like, yeah, there's not one specific person, but it's also not just, you cannot always just put two people together and they will learn to love each other. So it does need to be the right person, but it's still, there can be many right people that you can learn to love. So, I mean, it's, yeah. But this is also very true. I mean, I don't necessarily like the context here, and I'm not necessarily liking where this may go, but it's still, you do need to have a love for yourself. You genuinely do. Regardless of finding love with anyone else, you need to love yourself as well, as you are.
That is the kind of self-important, smug nonsense our ancestors used to tell themselves.
And he didn't understand the point.
Self-empowerment, self. That's the attitude that cost them the world. It's not enough, 1K. It might be a start, but it's not enough.
Yes, it is a start, but you still need it. This is also, it's like, okay, he wants to find love. He wants to love somebody else. He wants somebody else to love him. If he doesn't love himself, why should anyone else? And it's kind of similar to the whole, if you don't respect yourself, why should anyone else? I mean, it's, that is also part of it. Because, I mean, the whole thing about perfection, it's like, you also need to learn to accept imperfections. Well, that includes accepting it in yourself. What? Okay. Nope. Purple?
Yeah,
Seriously?
It's you! You're 1K! So nice to meet you, dude. I saw you in the Completion Day stream. Hey, you checked out all this ancient stuff? Me too! Huh, this is amazing, isn't it?
Sorry, I'm just... No doubt is a proper understanding with these robots. Yeah, when Citizens talks about love, but I really doubt there's proper understanding with these robots. It's like there's a lot of people, a lot of humans that don't understand it, so...
I'm almost as new as you are.
And there's also different kinds of love as well, so...
I've been around for a year or so. I'm still trying to get the hang of this. Pretty cool, though, right? I mean, existence is totally gnarly. Not sure I used that right.
But yeah, it's like you love a sibling different than you love a friend, different than you would love a spouse, different than you would love a pet, and so on and so forth. So it's like it is such a nuanced topic. I really, really don't trust that guy. What I'm saying, because also it's like, do you not have friends? I'm like, you should love your friends as well. Oh, you're talking about that specific kind of love. Okay, well, let's focus on that. And it's like, well, what are you expecting? I mean, it's like there could be a whole deep conversation that I really do not have any reason to believe that they would understand, because I'm just not really expecting that they have any kind of relationships on that level. I'm not even sure that they really have friendships, even. I mean, it's... And that I'm also just saying, as far as I've not seen anything to suggest that they do.
I'm sure the founder knew what she was doing. I mean, our ancestors did sort of mess up, right? So we should probably take it easy with the expanding and stuff. Plus, did you see that trippy sky projection thing? That was some freaky stuff, man. Just seems safer to stay in the city.
By the way, I am running. This is the RTX 28, and I did update the drivers. So whatever is going on here shouldn't just be like a driver issue. It is
sure I do.
Something else. Hopefully it will be patched.
When I first left the birthing lab, I was so overwhelmed that I hid in my quarters for
I don't even have quarters.
3 weeks straight. And if I'm being honest, that's sort of where I want to be right now. They're pretty neat, huh? My favorite is that thing called a toilet. Our ancestors had to use it like 3 times a day to do a memory dump. And if they didn't, they freaking exploded! Imagine having to deal with that sort of anxiety all the time. Bummer, huh? Honestly, based on everything I know of ancient human culture, I think he's a ghost.
That wow, okay. And I just turned away so I could mark an email as read, but sure. Who knows, maybe. I don't feel like shooting him down.
You'd say I'm wrong. Ghosts are creepy, dude.
Not always.
Dude is an old human word that means an excellent person. I like to use it because I think we should all be excellent to each other.
It doesn't have to be excellent, but yeah, it is just a generic term for all people.
Yeah, dude. I thought this voice pack would give me a bit of confidence, help me stand out, you know? But I'm not sure it's working. Right. Before you go, dude, maybe you can help me? I'm not sure I should keep this voice pack. What do you think? You're 1K. You're special. I'm happy to go with whatever you recommend.
Yeah.
You're right, dude. You're absolutely right. I'm gonna do exactly what you told me to.
Ah, shit. Ah. Soccer ball. And we got somebody here.
Founder bless you, friend. The name I currently go by is Belmarsh. As to who I am, that changes and shifts, don't you find? Every person is an ongoing story, full of twists and turns and surprises.
Yeah, but that was still the same person. We evolve, we change, but there is a continuity there.
I'm meditating, letting go of narratives like time and space, and simply allowing the illusion that is my ego to merge with everything that surrounds it.
Yeah, it sounds like nonsense.
Exactly. Just like the founder is nonsense. And that's why we must believe in her.
I'm out. Nope. I don't care what else he has to say. It's like, this guy is... It's just nonsensical drivel. Do not need that. I was wondering if it was going to be a reference to being the golden gun, but no, it looks like it's just pulled out of Serious Sam. Puzzle pieces, microscope, fork, and a book. Anything about what the book is? Okay, so that is it. I shall be stopping soon. I just want to get back. I guess I can look up here. But I do want to get back to the thing. Oh, that's for Alexandra. So I got people to talk to.
Oh, hello there. You must be the long-awaited 1K. Lovely day for a walk, is it not? Oh, that sounds very dramatic. I must admit I wasn't following the stream. This whole completion day business is not for me.
Fair enough.
The Alexandra Drennan Memorial. Are you interested in history? How wonderful. I'm not a full-fledged historian, but I do consider myself a bit of an aficionado. An excellent question. There's so many interesting events to choose from. Obviously, the period just before the end of biological humanity is interesting, and not only from the standpoint of it being the time when we were, in a manner of speaking, conceived, but also because our ancestors were, like ourselves, at a crossroads. I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but you are the living embodiment of this historical moment. In you, the goal was accomplished. Our growth is finished, and we are complete. Or are we? Indeed. The future is about to take shape, for good or ill. I suspect it will be exhilarating.
One way or another.
But painful as well. Well, where do I even start? This, my dear 1K, is someone who could very well be considered the mother of us all. A remarkable scientist by the name of Alexandra Drennan, also known as the progenitor. A long time ago, this planet was inhabited by our ancestors, a species of bipedal mammals with unusually large brains. When a particularly lethal virus threatened to wipe out civilization, it was Alexandra Drennan and her team that decided to create the program that would eventually result in the creation of our kind. Without her, you and I would not exist, and everything our ancestors had accomplished would be forgotten. By studying her writings and recordings, I have learnt that Alexandra Drennan had immovable faith in humanity, in our ability to persevere, in our curiosity, our bravery, our kindness. While we might not share our ancestors' biological characteristics, I'd like to think that we have inherited those other qualities. And I admire Alexandra Drennan for keeping that faith, even when it must have, at times, been quite difficult. To commemorate our past, our beginnings. This entire garden is a celebration of where we came from, in part so that we remember the mistakes of the past, and in part so that we may draw strength from those that came before us. Have a nice day.
The answer that came to me again and again was...
Okay, so it is just
Every human society.
Playing some of this stuff. Okay. Seriously, we got Padme? I seriously do need to get going, so I'm just gonna head over there. And actually, yeah, what do I... Yeah, I need to... Since it's all just checkpoints, I need to make that note as well. I do need to, like, get back up there, because that should trigger a checkpoint. There's reasons why I like games having... Ah, shit, another person to talk to. Oh, it's Thecla. It's somebody.
Bless you, 1K.
Plus something referencing her.
Lovely of you to come here to the
I do like manual
spot
saves.
where she established the teachings that led to your creation.
Of course, I turn to make a note, and you have this. Right away. No. Manual saves. I mean, I get the whole checkpoint so somebody can't abuse the
The founder was born out of the
abuse the puzzles that way, but still.
an almost impossible test created by our
Go
distant
ahead, let me save in here. Outside puzzles.
these trials. She had to embody the most important virtues. She was smart and wise and humble. And through her perseverance, she resurrected humanity itself. With the help of the first companions, she founded this city, which has given our species a chance at redemption. They were the first to be born after the founder. 2 whose bodies had been anointed by our ancestors, and 10 who were made whole by the founder herself. They are the wisest of us. Though sadly, some were lost in the early days, before New Jerusalem was built. And some, I'm afraid, some seem to have rejected the founder's teachings.
Okay, hang on. But this does pose a significant problem. And hang on, whoa, damn it. Anyway, I started a note, but then it's like, oh, I gotta write this down, and I forgot what it was. Why weren't messengers used for the first 2? But also, how long did it take? I was questioning, why were those 2 singled out? Now I finally know. This is way too long. Okay, that is a significant question, a significant part of world building.
The founder taught that humanity was destroyed by its hubris. Our ancestors thought they could play God and treat this planet as something to dominate. They surrendered to a fever of growth and extraction.
Boy, are you exaggerating.
It finally punished them for it. That's why the founder created the goal. So we would have something to strive for in her absence. But also a limit we must never pass.
And it's hubris to believe that we can set that limit appropriately.
That's not for us to know. But I believe that one day she will return. It may not be long now. Perhaps after we finish the dome. It was supposed to be finished before completion day. Well, it doesn't matter. The founder will return when she sees fit. Happy
Yeah, it's like,
completion day.
she was so humble, that's why we're deifying her. Do you have any idea how nonsensical that is? How counter to the very thing you're talking about that is? Especially with this... Definitely an obsession. I mean, it's absolutely hubris. Because the whole stability, the balance stuff is not a example of humility here. That is an example of hubris. So yeah, it's boy, so many problems. Also, if you're concerned about energy, stairs. Like seriously, why do we make something so big that we need freaking elevators like this? Yet that is so annoying and really should not be what's going on. We should not be in video games going that heavily on on the temporal reprojection and accumulation stuff. Alright. Hopefully, that's good enough. Alright, because as I said, I do need to be stopping, getting stuff processing and all that. Normally, I try to give my initial thoughts on recommendation after the first session. I cannot because I'm not done enough yet, and the story is... It's better than Road to Gehenna, but it's not as good as the base game yet, because it's engaging me, but in a way of, like with Milton, I could argue with him, even though I wasn't actually arguing with him because game and person. But here I feel like it's so much just pushing things onto you. But at the same time, though, that is very likely the point, that it is being pushed on you, because you're going to have to make choices. You're going to have to recognize the two different sides and the issues that they both present. So it's like, I can't fault it for that. But I do need to, at the moment, I do need to see how it pays off, but I basically have done no gameplay. So I cannot give a recommendation I cannot guess at the recommendation at this time. But I do know that the graphics are annoying me, that temporal stuff is such a problem. And some of the storytelling I also do have issues with, so... Yeah, but gameplay is most important, and... yeah, I'm gonna have problems with the story, regardless. It could still have a lot of payoffs, but it's like, why did it take that long for the explanation for why the first two companions were significant? Alright. See you next time.